Mythology and history often intertwine in ways that spark deep questions. One such mystery is the legendary figure of Shukracharya, the guru of the Asuras. Revered for his wisdom, knowledge of the Sanjeevani mantra, and role as a teacher, could Shukracharya have influenced cultures and belief systems that span across millennia? In today's video, we explore a fascinating possibility. Could Shukracharya be linked to the ancestors of modern day Muslims? Let's dive into the myths, history, and interpretations. So let's understand who was Shukracharya. Shukracharya is a prominent figure in Hindu mythology, known as the Guru of the Asuras, who are also the enemies of the Devas. As the preceptor of the Asuras, Shukracharya was revered for his deep understanding of the Vedas and his powerful knowledge of the Sanjeevani mantra, which could revive the dead. His character embodies wisdom, patience, and the pursuit of knowledge, but is often seen as someone whose allegiance lay with the so-called dark forces. Yet his influence was profound, not just among the Asuras, but perhaps beyond. Now let's understand the historical and cultural parallels. As we examine history, we see that cultures and religions have exchanged ideas, traditions, and philosophies. Ancient India was a hub of spiritual and intellectual exchange. Could Shukracharya's teachings or philosophies have traveled through the centuries, influencing other regions and the belief systems? Some speculate that the wisdom of ancient Indian sages may have reached the Arabian Peninsula, influencing pre-Islamic cultures. While there is no direct evidence of this, history is full of such mysterious connections. Now let's understand the connection to the Semitic lineage, which we might consider speculative. Islam emerged in the Arabian Peninsula in the 7th century, and its roots are tied to the Abrahamic tradition. However, such speculative theories suggest that ancient Indian sages like Shukracharya may have had a subtle influence on early Semitic cultures. Could there be a link between the Asura lineages under Shukracharya's guidance and the ancestors of those who later embraced Islam? While mainstream history doesn't suggest a direct connection, some scholars have explored this possibility through cultural and linguistic similarities. Now let's understand the parallels between Shukracharya's values and Islamic teachings. Both Shukracharya and Islamic teachings emphasize certain core values: wisdom, justice, the pursuit of truth, and moral living. Shukracharya's role as a guide and protector of the Asuras, with his emphasis on fairness and justice, reflects some of the ethical teachings that resonate with Islamic principles. Could these shared values point to a deeper cross-cultural connection? The legacy of Shukracharya and his impact. Shukracharya's legacy is one of immense knowledge and wisdom. Although traditionally associated with the Asuras, his teachings transcend good and evil, emphasizing wisdom, learning, and the power of knowledge. Few more controversial pointers for comparison. The holiest day and most important one as well is Friday in Islam, which is the Shukravar or the day of Maharishi Shukra in Sanskrit. The attire of Muslims globally is white, which is color of Shukra. In fact, the word Shukra itself means white. Maharishi Shukracharya was an ardent devotee of Lord Shiva, and no matter how much they refute, it's ultimately a Shivlinga, a black stone, around which the 2 billion Islamic population of the world circle around every year and believe it as holy. They move around the Kaaba in counterclockwise direction, whereas all the Eastern traditions, Hindu, Buddhist, Sikhs, Jains, do it in clockwise direction around the deity, which they call as Pradakshina. Needless to say that Shukra, which is also known as Venus, is the only planet which rotates in the opposite direction to all the rest of the planets in our solar system. They do 7 rounds around the Kaaba, which is again a number associated with Shukra in astrology. Guru Shukracharya is said to be the significator of wealth, and we all know where the liquid wealth of the planet is. Because of this same oil wealth, these Middle Eastern countries have the highest per capita income in the world. During the war with the Devas, Guru Shukra, because of his Mrit Sanjeevani Vidya, could bring back the dead Asuras back to life. Because of this, a culture of sheer disregard to life or no respect for life occurred amongst the Asuras. This is the same culture one can see in the terrorism that emanates from the Middle Eastern countries in the name of Islam, where there's sheer disregard to human life as it's believed that all the martyred will be brought back to life one day again on the day of judgment. Guru Shukra is known to be on a camel in many Hindu traditions. Now we know the relevance of camel in Islamic culture. When Lord Shiva took the crescent moon on his head, he was known as Kabaleshwar, which again contains the word Kaaba, and the crescent moon also being a key symbol in Islam. Shukracharya, being the great disciple of Lord Shiva, would of course teach his followers the same. Whether or not there is a direct connection to modern day cultures or religions, his influence as a spiritual figure remains significant. His life and teachings remind us of interconnectedness of ancient civilizations and their pursuit of the divine. The idea that Shukracharya may be linked to modern day cultures like Islam is speculative, but it opens the door to exploring how ancient wisdom might have traveled across time and space. At the end of the day, mythology and history teach us that spiritual wisdom is universal and its influence is far reaching. What do you think? Could there be a deeper connection, or is this simply a fascinating coincidence? Let us know in the comments.